Ladies and gentlemen, life is not about competing with others. It's about competing with the person you were yesterday. Every day gives us a fresh chance, a new page, and a little window of time to write a better story for ourselves. When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself that you are not here to be perfect. You are here to be better than yesterday. Compete with yourself, not with others, because the real journey of life begins when you stop looking sideways and start looking within. We live in a world where comparison has become a habit, where people measure their worth by what others are achieving. We scroll through screens, we see the highlights of other people's lives, and we begin to feel that we are behind. But what we don't see is their struggles, their sacrifices, their silent battles. When you constantly compare yourself with others, you steal the joy of your own progress. The truth is, the only person you need to be better than is the one you were yesterday. Life is not a race against anyone else. It is a journey towards becoming a better version of yourself every single day. When you compete with yourself, your focus shifts from jealousy to growth. Instead of asking, "Why don't I have what they have?" you begin to ask, "What can I do today that I couldn't do yesterday?" This mindset transforms your energy. It removes unnecessary pressure and replaces it with hope and possibility. You begin to value your small wins, your little steps, and your quiet progress. It is in these moments that real improvement begins to happen. Competing with others might bring temporary satisfaction if you win, but competing with yourself brings long-term growth, because there is no end to how much better you can become. Think of life as a mirror. When you compete with yourself, you look into that mirror and challenge the reflection to improve. Did you handle your anger better today than you did last week? Did you show more patience, more kindness, more courage than before? Did you try one more time when you felt like giving up? These are the real victories that matter. No one else may notice them, but deep inside, you will feel the difference. And that difference is priceless. Because when you change yourself, everything around you starts to shift too. Your relationships become stronger, your outlook becomes brighter, and your confidence grows naturally without forcing it. The danger of competing with others is that it never ends. There will always be someone richer, smarter, prettier, or more successful. And if you keep chasing them, you will spend your entire life running without ever feeling fulfilled. But when you compete with yourself, there is peace in the process. You don't have to win against anyone. You just have to rise above your old habits, your old doubts, and your old fear. Every day becomes a chance to write a new story for yourself, one that is built on progress, not on comparison. Competing with yourself also teaches you gratitude. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you begin to appreciate what you already have and how far you've come. You start to see that the small improvements you make today are blessings, and those blessings multiply over time. A person who once struggled to walk can later run marathons, not because they beat someone else, but because they kept beating their own limitations, one day at a time. That is the real meaning of growth. So stop wasting energy on comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Focus on writing your own story at your own pace. Look at the person you were yesterday and promise yourself to be a little better today. That is how true progress is made. And that is how life becomes meaningful, when you understand that the only competition that matters is with yourself. Small steps create big change. But most people overlook this truth because they expect transformation to happen overnight. We live in a world that celebrates instant results, quick success, and fast progress. Yet life doesn't work like that. The strongest trees didn't grow in a day. They took years of silent growth underground before anyone saw their strength above the soil. In the same way, your growth and improvement are the result of tiny, consistent actions that may seem small in the moment, but eventually shape your entire life. A single drop of water may look powerless, But when it keeps falling on the same stone again and again, it carves its way through. That is the power of small steps repeated daily. When you try to change everything at once, you feel overwhelmed, and sooner or later you give up because it feels impossible. But when you focus on one small habit, one little effort, or one decision at a time, it feels achievable. If you want to read more, start with just 1 page a day. If you want to be healthier, drink 1 extra glass of water. If you want to become kinder, say 1 encouraging word to someone every day. These steps may feel insignificant, but they build momentum, and momentum turns into change. Small actions, when practiced consistently, create a shift in your identity. You stop saying, "I want to be this person," and start realizing, "I am becoming this person." That is how transformation happens quietly. The beauty of small steps is that they don't require perfection. You don't need to wait for the perfect timing, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. You simply start where you are, with what you have, and you keep moving forward. Think about how a child learns to walk. The first step is shaky. The second step is clumsy. But over time, those small attempts turn into confident strides. No one remembers the falls, but everyone remembers the day the child finally walked. In the same way, your small efforts today may look invisible, but one day they will be the reason people admire the life you've built. Small steps also protect you from the fear of failure. When you take on something too big too soon, failure feels heavy and discouraging. But when your steps are small, failure becomes a lesson, not a punishment. You simply adjust, correct, and try again. This way you build resilience without losing hope. Each small step becomes proof that you are capable of moving forward, even if slow. And the truth is, slow progress is still progress. 1% better every day may not sound impressive, but over time, it creates a complete transformation that is impossible to ignore. Often people underestimate how much change is possible through small actions repeated daily. Reading a page may not make you wise today, but in a year you will have finished many books. Saving a little money may not make you rich today, but in a decade, you will be financially stronger. Speaking kindly once may not heal the world, but doing it daily will build deeper connections and a more peaceful heart. The key is patience and trust in the process, because when you honor small steps, you are honoring growth itself. You are choosing to believe that every effort matters, every seed counts, and every drop contributes to the ocean of change you are creating in your life. Choose kindness over anger daily, because every single day life will give you moments that test your patience. Someone may speak harshly, someone may disappoint you, or things may not go according to plan. In those moments, anger feels like the easiest response, but kindness is always the wiser choice. Anger burns quickly, but it leaves behind ashes of regret. Kindness, on the other hand, may feel difficult in the moment, but it leaves behind peace, connection, and respect. It takes strength to control your tongue when your heart is on fire, but that strength defines your character more than any success or achievement ever could. Choosing kindness doesn't mean you allow people to walk over you or that you ignore your feelings. It simply means you decide not to let negativity control you. Anger may give you a moment of release, but it steals your peace for hours. Kindness allows you to rise above the situation without becoming a prisoner of your own emotions. Imagine being in a heated conversation. If both sides choose anger, the fire grows until it destroys understanding. But if one side chooses kindness, the fire cools down and space for healing appears. That is the power of kindness. It doesn't just change others, it transforms the atmosphere around you. Every day you will face a choice: to react with anger, or to respond with kindness. These small choices shape who you become. When you choose anger repeatedly, it becomes a habit. You begin to carry bitterness inside you, and slowly it affects your relationships, your health, and even your self-image. But when you choose kindness consistently, it also becomes a habit. You begin to notice peace in your heart, more trust in your relationships, and a sense of freedom from the weight of negativity. One choice at a time, you are shaping your life in a direction that feels lighter and more fulfilling. Think of the times when someone showed you kindness in your weakest moment. You may not remember the details of many conversations in your life, but you will never forget the moments when someone chose kindness over anger with you. That is the kind of impact you create every day when you choose kindness. You are not just calming yourself, you are leaving a mark on someone else's heart, a mark that might inspire them to treat another person the same way. In this way, kindness has a ripple effect that travels farther than you can imagine. It is easy to be kind when everything is going well, but true kindness is tested when you are tired, stressed, or hurt. In those moments, remember that kindness is not weakness, it is strength under control. Anyone can raise their voice, but it takes courage to lower it. Anyone can insult, but it takes wisdom to hold back. Every time you practice this, you are not only protecting your peace, but also proving to yourself that you are stronger than your anger. Slowly, day by day, kindness becomes your natural language, and anger loses its power over you. As each new day begins, remind yourself that you have two options in every situation: to let anger control you or to let kindness guide you. The choice may seem small in the moment, but it is shaping the person you are becoming. And the more you choose kindness, the more you will notice that life itself feels softer, lighter, and filled with moments that truly matter. Forgive yourself and others to move forward, because holding on to pain is like carrying a heavy stone in your heart every single day. The more you hold it, the more it weighs you down, and eventually, it stops you from moving ahead. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It is about deciding that the past will no longer control your future. When you forgive others, you are not excusing their behavior. You are simply choosing peace over bitterness. And when you forgive yourself, you are allowing your soul to breathe again instead of being trapped in guilt and regret. Many people believe that forgiveness is a gift to the other person, but in reality, it is a gift to yourself. Carrying anger, resentment, or guilt doesn't punish the other person. It punishes you. It eats away at your peace of mind and steals your joy. Every time you replay the hurt in your mind, you relive the pain again and again. But the moment you forgive, you release yourself from that cycle. Forgiveness is freedom, a freedom that allows you to move ahead without chains tying you to the past. Forgiving yourself is equally important, yet often the hardest. We are quick to judge ourselves for mistakes we made, words we spoke in anger, or decisions we regret. We keep punishing ourselves long after the moment has passed. But growth cannot happen in the shadow of shame. You must learn to look at yourself with compassion, to remind yourself that mistakes are proof that you tried, that failure is proof that you were brave enough to attempt something. Forgiveness towards yourself is not weakness, it is strength, because it allows you to rise again instead of staying stuck in self-blame. When you forgive others, you are not erasing what they did. You are simply refusing to let their actions decide the rest of your life. Sometimes people hurt us deeply, and the wound feels impossible to heal. But forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means remembering without allowing the memory to control your present. It means saying, yes, this happened to me, but I will not let it destroy the person I am becoming. That choice is what allows healing to begin. Without forgiveness, wounds remain open. With forgiveness, they slowly begin to close. Forgiveness is also a daily practice, not a one-time event. Some hurts are so deep that you may need to forgive the same person in your heart again and again until the anger no longer has power over you. And some mistakes within yourself may return in your thoughts often. But each time you choose to let go, you are taking a step forward. Healing is not always quick, but forgiveness keeps you moving in the right direction. What many people don't realize is that forgiveness creates space for new blessings. When you hold on to resentment, your hands are too full to receive anything new. But when you let go, you open your heart to peace, love, and growth. You create room for better relationships, healthier thoughts, and a lighter soul. It is like cleaning a room full of dust. Only when you remove what no longer serves you can lighten fresh air. Forgiveness works in the same way, clearing away the weight of the past so that you can step into the future with strength and grace. Growth is about consistency, not speed, because real progress in life is never built in a single day. The world often glorifies fast results, quick success stories, and overnight transformations. But what truly lasts is the change that comes from steady, repeated effort. Just like a seed doesn't turn into a tree in a week, personal growth also requires time, patience, and commitment. When you rush, you often burn out or give up halfway, but when you stay consistent, even small actions compound into something powerful over time. It is not about how fast you move forward, it is about how committed you are to keep moving forward, even when progress feels invisible. Think about how rivers shape valleys and mountains. They don't cut through rock because of strength, they do it because they keep flowing, day after day, without stopping. The same principle applies to your life. Reading one page daily may not feel like much, but a year later, you have completed many books. Exercising for 10 minutes may feel too little, but months later, your body begins to feel stronger. Speaking one kind word daily may not change the world immediately, but slowly, it changes the way people feel around you. These are not quick wins, they are silent victories of consistency that shape the person you are becoming. The problem with chasing speed is that it creates unrealistic expectations. You start something new and want results instantly. When results don't appear, frustration builds and you quit. But if you approach growth with consistency, you are no longer attached to the outcome alone. You focus on the process, on showing up daily, on trusting that small actions will lead to big results. This mindset gives you patience and resilience, because you are not measuring yourself by what you achieved today, but by the fact that you stayed committed today. And that commitment itself is progress. Consistency also creates trust within yourself. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you are building confidence in your own ability. You prove to yourself that you can rely on your discipline more than your mood. You no longer wait for motivation, because you understand that consistency is stronger than motivation. Motivation may get you started, but consistency is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. And that is where growth truly begins, when you continue even on the days you don't feel like it. It's important to understand that speed often makes you compare yourself with others. You start looking around and thinking someone else is ahead of you, moving faster, achieving more. But growth is not a race, it is a personal journey. Everyone's pace is different, and everyone's path is unique. When you focus on consistency, instead of speed, you stop comparing and start respecting your own journey. You learn to value your little steps, your small wins, and your quiet progress. That shift in perspective gives you peace and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Consistency also prepares you for the long run. Quick success might feel good at first, but without a strong foundation, it doesn't last. It is like building a house on sand. It looks impressive for a while, but collapses when challenges come. Consistency builds that foundation, brick by brick. It makes you strong enough to handle difficulties and patient enough to wait for results. That is why the people who stay consistent, even with small actions, eventually outgrow those who rush for instant results. Because while speed fades, consistency creates lasting change that shapes not just what you achieve but who you become. Learn one new thing every day because knowledge is the seed of growth. And when you water that seed daily, it slowly transforms your life. You don't need to master everything overnight or fill your mind with endless information at once. What truly matters is the steady habit of curiosity, the willingness to pick up even a small piece of wisdom each day and carry it with you. A single idea, a single line from a book, or a single lesson from an experience can shift your perspective and open doors you didn't even know existed. Learning something new is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming better, wiser, and more aware of the world around you. When you commit to learning every day, you keep your mind alive and your spirit young. Stagnation happens when you believe you already know enough, but growth happens when you remain a student of life. Every person you meet, every story you hear, every challenge you face has something to teach you. Sometimes the lesson is practical, like learning a skill, and sometimes it is emotional, like learning patience or humility. Both kinds of learning shape you and prepare you for the next stage of your journey. Even if you only learn one small thing daily, imagine how much wiser you will be after months and years of collecting these lessons. Learning doesn't always mean sitting with books or attending classes. It is about keeping your eyes and heart open to the world. Watching a sunrise might teach you about patience and beauty. Listening to someone older might teach you about resilience. Making a mistake might teach you about courage and responsibility. Life is constantly whispering lessons, but only those who stay open and curious are able to hear them. That is why one of the most powerful choices you can make is to wake up every day with the question, what can I learn today? The power of small daily learning lies in how it compounds over time. Reading a page of a book daily may seem too little, but a year later you've completed an entire collection. Practicing a new skill for 10 minutes daily may feel insignificant, but months later you find yourself competent and confident. Writing down one thought daily may not seem like much, but one day you'll have a journal full of wisdom. These small efforts build momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Learning every day builds not just knowledge but also discipline, confidence, and curiosity. Another gift of daily learning is humility. When you choose to learn something every day, you are admitting that you don't know it all, and that is a powerful act. It keeps you grounded, open-minded, and willing to grow. The moment you stop learning, arrogance takes over, and arrogance blocks growth. But when you stay a learner, no matter your age or achievements, you continue to evolve, and life continues to surprise you with new opportunities. Learning something new each day also makes life exciting. It gives you reasons to look forward, to explore, to stretch beyond your comfort zone. It adds freshness to your routine and keeps you moving forward when everything else feels repetitive. Even on hard days, learning one thing reminds you that growth is still possible, that progress is still alive. And when you look back, you realize that each small lesson has been building you, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more aware than you were before. Protect your heart from negativity because what you allow inside will eventually shape how you see the world and how you live your life. The heart is like soil. Whatever seeds you plant in it will grow. If you allow bitterness, anger, and doubt to settle inside, they will take root and slowly steal your peace. But if you protect it and guard it with care, your heart becomes a place where love, hope, and strength can flourish. Negativity is everywhere, in conversations, in the news, in the judgments of people around us. but you always have the choice of what to absorb and what to let go. Protecting your heart does not mean ignoring reality or pretending life is always perfect. It simply means choosing not to carry poison within you. Someone may speak harshly, but you can choose not to let their words define your worth. A situation may disappoint you, but you can choose not to let it turn into hopelessness. Life may give you reasons to be bitter, but you can still decide to be better. Protecting your heart is about setting boundaries, about knowing when to step away from negativity and when to allow only what nourishes you to enter. Negativity often comes from outside, but sometimes it also comes from within. The way you speak to yourself, the thoughts you repeat in your mind, the doubts you entertain, all of these either protect your heart or harm it. If your inner voice is constantly filled with criticism and fear, you are creating the same damage as external negativity. That is why it is so important to replace negative self-talk with gentle reminders, to speak to yourself with the same compassion you would give to someone you love. Protecting your heart starts with protecting your mind and choosing thoughts that lift you instead of crushing you. There will always be people who try to bring you down, consciously or unconsciously. Some will doubt your dreams, some will question your worth, and some will project their own fears onto you. If you allow their negativity to sink into your heart, it will make you question yourself. But if you learn to filter their words, you remain free. You must remember that not every opinion deserves a place in your heart. Protecting yourself from negativity means being selective about the voices you listen to and the company you keep. Surround yourself with people who inspire growth, who encourage kindness, and who remind you of your strength instead of your weaknesses. Protecting your heart also means protecting your energy. Not every battle is worth fighting, not every insult is worth responding to, and not every conflict is worth your peace. Sometimes the best way to protect your heart is to simply walk away. Silence can be more powerful than anger, and distance can be more healing than constant confrontation. By guarding your energy, you save space for the things that truly matter: your dreams, your loved ones, your growth, and your peace of mind. The more you protect your heart from negativity, the lighter life begins to feel. You no longer carry the unnecessary weight of bitterness, comparison, and doubt. Instead, you carry hope, gratitude, and love. That doesn't mean life becomes perfect, but it means you become stronger in facing imperfection. And in the end, your heart becomes a safe place for yourself and for those around you. A place where negativity cannot take root and where only strength and peace are allowed to grow. Struggles are signs of hidden growth because the hardest moments in life are often the ones shaping us the most. Even when we don't realize it, when challenges come, they may feel like obstacles meant to break us, but in reality, they are tools that shape our character, test our strength, and push us to discover parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. Just like a seed must be buried in the darkness before it can break through the soil and see the light, we also go through seasons of struggle that prepare us for new beginnings. Pain is not always a punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. The very weight you feel today might be the reason you walk stronger tomorrow. Every struggle you face forces you to grow in ways comfort never could. Comfort zones feel safe, but they don't allow growth. It is when you are challenged, when life becomes heavy, that you learn patience, resilience, and courage. Think of how muscles grow in the body. They grow when they are stretched and torn during exercise, and then they rebuild stronger than before. In the same way, your spirit grows when life stretches you through struggles. Every disappointment teaches you how to rise again. Every rejection teaches you self-worth, and every heartbreak teaches you deeper compassion. These are lessons you cannot buy or read about. They can only be earned through experience. Struggles also reveal your hidden strength. Sometimes you don't know how brave you are until you face fear. You don't know how strong your faith is until it is tested. You don't know how much you can endure until endurance is the only option left. These moments may feel unbearable while you are in them, but looking back, you often realize they were the turning points of your life. The times you thought you were breaking were actually the times you were building. The pressure you felt was not there to crush you, but to mold you into someone wiser and stronger. There is also beauty in the fact that struggles make you more human. They connect you with others, because pain is universal. When you go through struggles, you develop empathy. You begin to understand others in ways you couldn't before. You no longer judge people harshly, because you know how heavy invisible battles can be. Your heart becomes softer, your voice becomes kinder, and your presence becomes healing for others. In this way, your struggle doesn't just grow you, it also makes you a source of light and hope for those around you. Many people see struggles as a sign of failure, but in truth, they are signs of progress. If you are struggling, it means you are moving, trying, learning, and pushing yourself beyond your old limits. The caterpillar struggles in the cocoon before becoming a butterfly. The diamond is formed under intense pressure. Gold is purified in fire. None of these transformations happen without struggle, and yet they lead to beauty, strength, and value. The same is true for your life. The very struggle that feels unbearable now might be the reason you shine tomorrow. So when life feels heavy and you feel like giving up, remind yourself that growth is happening in silence. You may not see it yet, but deep inside, your character is being built, your patience is being stretched, and your strength is being multiplied. One day you will look back and realize that your struggles were not breaking you. They were building you into the person you were always meant to become. There is a powerful discipline that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. And that discipline is consistency. Consistency is not glamorous. It rarely looks exciting in the moment, but it carries within it the force of compounding results that eventually separate the average from the exceptional. Many people start with energy, passion, and big goals, but they burn out quickly because they expect instant results. They do not understand that greatness is built in the quiet repetition of small acts done faithfully over time. A single workout does not transform your body, a single study session does not create mastery, and a single act of kindness does not change the world. But when these are repeated consistently, day after day, they create unstoppable momentum. Consistency is proof of commitment, and it demonstrates that you value progress more than temporary feelings. Even on the days when motivation disappears, consistency is the force that keeps you moving forward. The truth is, consistency is more powerful than intensity. It is better to take small steps daily than to make a giant leap once and collapse afterward. Those who succeed understand that consistency builds trust with themselves. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you strengthen your inner confidence. You begin to rely on your own word, and that reliability becomes the foundation of a stronger identity. People often admire the end results of success, but overlook the long years of consistent effort behind them. The best-selling author who sells millions of books did not arrive there overnight. They sat down to write daily, even when the words did not flow easily. The athlete who breaks records trained consistently long before the spotlight reached them. The business owner who seems like an overnight success spent years laying bricks of effort one by one. Consistency builds habits, and habits shape destiny. If you want to transform your life, focus less on what you do occasionally and more on what you do repeatedly, because the small actions you take consistently matter far more than the big actions you take once in a while. Consistency also has a way of silencing doubt. At first, you may feel unsure of yourself, but as you show up day after day, you begin to see evidence that you are capable of growth. That evidence becomes motivation to keep going. And soon, What once felt difficult becomes natural. The secret is to not measure your progress by single days, but by the accumulation of days. Just as drops of water wear away stone, consistent effort over time reshapes your future. It does not require perfection. Even imperfect consistency is more powerful than scattered bursts of effort. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep building layer upon layer. Because in the end, consistency is the bridge that connects vision to reality, dreams to achievement, and hope to fulfillment. There are people who rise to success not because they were handed opportunities on a silver platter, but because they carried an inner fire that refused to be extinguished. The secret was not found in luck or privilege, but in their ability to cultivate unwavering belief in themselves, even when the world doubted them. This kind of belief does not come naturally. It is built through moments of decision, through nights of solitude, when no applause could be heard, and through the daily choice to trust the process instead of giving up. When you learn to believe in yourself, even in the absence of visible progress, you unlock the energy to keep moving when everything in you feels like stopping. Life has a way of testing our confidence with silence, with delays and with rejection. Yet those who remain rooted in their self-belief often find that doors begin to open when they least expect it. It is as though the universe waits for you to prove that you trust your vision before it aligns with you. The irony is that many people quit just before their breakthrough because they start doubting their own worth, their skills, or their calling. Confidence is not about arrogance or pretending to know everything. It is about reminding yourself that you have within you the power to learn, adapt, and grow, no matter the circumstances. Every time you push forward with belief, you reinforce the truth that you are capable. This is why belief acts like a seed. Even if buried in the darkest soil, it contains the potential for life, and with patience and care it rises toward the light. When you choose to nurture belief rather than feed doubt, you create an inner environment where success can grow. People around you may discourage you. They may laugh at your dreams, or they may project their own insecurities onto you. But those who build unshakable belief use these voices as fuel rather than as chains. They know that every great achievement in history was first ridiculed before it was celebrated. Belief does not require that you have all the answers. It only requires that you trust yourself enough to take the next step. The courage to take that step, backed by belief, creates momentum. Momentum, once in motion, becomes the silent force that pushes you beyond the limits you once thought defined you. The most successful individuals did not arrive at their destination by accident. They simply refused to let disbelief stop. They leaned on the idea that if they did not believe in themselves, no one else would either. Self-belief becomes the foundation upon which others start to believe in you. It is magnetic. It attracts opportunities, people, and resources into your orbit. Because when you carry an inner certainty, you inspire trust. Every day that you hold on to belief, even in small ways, you expand your capacity to achieve. And in time, that quiet decision to believe becomes the loudest reason behind your victory.